We're going to explain the meaning and importance of Bitcoin breaking its upward trend line. And looking at this moment, Ethereum is doing exactly the same. Not only Ethereum, but the entire crypto ecosystem. Now, you're looking at Bitcoin on its hourly time frame, and we're going to be analyzing what has been happening throughout this range. I warn you that the situation becomes quite clear. Let's analyze this in depth. And now on the order flow chart, a type of chart that allows us to see inside the candles, let's analyze. And I'll give you a spoiler because we're in the midst of a bullish accumulation process. The first point is to locate the creek, just as we had it on the other chart. Then here, you can see that we have a well-defined defense zone, and now observe the following. Look at how in this first drop, a significant transactional interest appears. If we observe the delta, we will realize that this drop has clearly been attempted to be sold with strong aggressiveness. What this is telling us is that at this point, we are dealing with a clear institutional presence in the midst of a stop volume. Later, when the price of Bitcoin has once again dipped, we notice that volume makes a reappearance. As you can see here, it doesn't seem like the price has continued its downward path. Therefore, the liquidity that was being shorted was clearly absorbed. Moving forward, in this micro process of bullish accumulation, the candle rejecting these drops is not just any candle. It is accompanied by strong volume with a delta oriented to the ask. In other words, smart money actively decided to buy the market, after absorbing the bears, of course. Look at how this buying is capable of driving the price upward. This is when smart money established a defense zone that it didn't want to see breached, eventually preparing to break the creek, as it is doing now. Now, observe this because you'll see it much clearer. Notice what happens when we delve into the inside of the candles, where the candle is clearly entirely red, and all this selling was incapable of prospering at the time. Then, if we go further and observe what happened in the defense zone, we clearly see the institutional presence of buyers capable of moving the price upward over a very relevant structural zone. And now, pay attention, as recently, sellers attempt to sell in a very incorrect manner on a defense zone, and of course this led nowhere. And look, what caught my attention the most is that, about an hour before breaking, the last attempt by the market to push the price down, where we see a significant cluster of sellers, was shamelessly absorbed before the breakout. So, what does this whole story I'm telling you say? Quite simple. This range is part of a bullish accumulation process. And if you want to know how you can benefit from this information, don't worry, I'll explain it now. Now, pay attention to the following. Even though it was already clear since Wednesday that we were in a bullish accumulation process, notice how the market is fractal. After seeing that tricky upward move around these levels, on an aggressive 5-minute time frame, we were looking for short opportunities, always considering that it would be a very short-term operation to benefit quickly, knowing that we were potentially in a bullish accumulation process that would eventually break. Anything goes here. The idea can be either to enter a short position or to enter seeking that bearish continuation. As you've seen, there were opportunities to benefit from these shorts, and later on, we could also look for these long positions. But don't worry, there are opportunities every day, and in this video, I'm going to share with you what we think will happen in the short term. Regarding Ethereum, taking a bit of perspective on this 1-hour time frame, we'll realize that Ethereum is at a highly relevant level. A level that already hinted that just being at a market extreme would lead to a certain bullish preference for seeking long positions. Zooming in a bit, notice how things are despite having that preference for longs, as I've explained with Bitcoin. In the case of Ethereum, after also seeing that trap in a horizontal creek, we were looking for short-term trading opportunities despite knowing that we are at a market extreme. For the medium term, the idea was to go long. Certainly, before going long, there will be short opportunities like this. We'll be reactive. If we see a strong break to the downside, we'll wait for a reaction. Interesting re-entry zones. As you've seen in the case of Ethereum, we sought that short position on a 3-minute time frame. Very aggressive, as I mentioned, for intraday trading. Well, in this hourly Ethereum chart, what we can see is that we are breaking with great momentum, the structural level that considers the compression against a very relevant structure. The same can be said for the Cardano chart. If we zoom in on this 1-hour chart, we'll notice the following. Here, we have a creek. They have defined a defense zone, created a trap, and now they are breaking their creek with strength and authority. In the case of Polkadot, take a look at its structure, which was recently breached to the downside. Of course, after a significant breakout, there would be a bias to the upside, at least for a test. Later, we'll see if it's for further upward movement or to reverse the price. But analyzing the situation, we clearly have a defense zone that smart money used. And if you observe here, there was a creek. At the moment of the breakout and on a 5-minute time frame, we said we were going to look for any excuse to go short on Polkadot for intraday trading, of course. So, as I was saying, we are in war warlike moments, so to speak. We've already had 3 upward attacks. A trap. We're bouncing back. Give me any excuse to go short, right? Well, as you've seen, the entire crypto market is on a significant rise and close to relevant structures. So, now I'll tell you what we think will happen in the short term with cryptocurrencies. But before that, welcome to Crypto Insight, your ethical and moral channel for cryptocurrency technical analysis. Here, we really know what we're talking about. We conduct advanced technical analysis that has been developed for over 12 years. We upload videos several times a week. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, let me know and leave a comment with your opinion. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click on the bell so you don't miss the next opportunity. Starting with Ethereum, let's make the following reflection. As you well know, for the long term, and it's no secret to anyone, we declare ourselves bearish in the crypto market. So, looking at how Ethereum is behaving, its trend line, which has come with great force from up high, generating a strong and aggressive bearish impulse directly impacting its trend line. Hey, it's reasonable to expect some kind of correction in the price, which, if you ask me, I don't think will extend much to the upside. Instead, I see a brief but existing upward correction before breaking and continuing with the medium-term crypto downtrend. And since I know you like drawings, back to the 1-hour chart. Well, here's what we should consider. First, let's move this trend line and turn it into a creek. Look, there it is. Let's wait then for some kind of small reaction, but I think it will be to break and go upwards. What is its maximum ceiling? In our view, around $23.80 within this rectangle. They can achieve this in a single impulse or with some type of correction and continuation. And this is a good landing level. Remember that the medium-term view is bearish. In any case, we would be dealing with a correction. I hope the idea is clear. With Cardano, notice that we have defined an area of interest for large institutions and how we are currently at a point to enter this entire area. Basically, it poses the following question. What implication would it have if Cardano came, broke, confirmed, and then was able to continue? The implication would be, most likely, to keep rising significantly. But beware, what I'm telling you now is not a prediction and not what we think will happen. We are just explaining the consequence it would have if this were to occur, taking this into account. And now you'll understand why I drew that for you. Let's see where that boundary is. Look, in the case of Cardano, what can we expect? We just broke the creek. Can we expect, hey, why not make a re-entry in search of liquidity? Or not, before breaking and going up, the level from 0.50 to 0.80. I find it very, very interesting. But you know that if they want, they can want to go look for this macro structure, which will be the one to dictate the directionality in the medium term. In the case of Polkadot, notice how the price is already going to touch its relevant guideline. In a way, Polkadot can be our true proxy to confirm if this really is a trap, which would discard our hypothesis of needing a small correction before continuing. Well, in that sense, Polkadot is also an open book. Let's zoom in a bit. I'm sure you'll understand me much better. I'm very interested in following this guideline. So let's see if Polkadot gives us a small correction and if it goes to look for, hey, why not? A little trap from this guideline that in the end, go look for something like a defense zone before continuing the fall. Notice it would then be a flat pattern. You know that this is our preference for the crypto market. But earlier, I was mentioning that the proxy to know when to discard this idea is if we see and be aware that this is not a prediction. We are being 100 directional but responding to the question, when do we discard such a bearish idea? Quite simple. If we see the price breaking through important structural levels, would this be confirmed as a trap? Here, a defense zone would be generated, essentially a test on the structure. The breach of these relevant structures would only lead us to consider looking upwards. You know that this is not what we think would happen, but at Crypto Insight, we have no ego. We don't believe we have a crystal ball. And of course, we will always adapt to market circumstances, seeking trading operations with minimal risk and always aiming for maximum profit. And regarding Bitcoin, as we've seen before, it has worked through a bullish accumulation process, simultaneously working on this defense zone, and Bitcoin has already surged aggressively. This doesn't rule out, of course, that at some point it may experience some correction before continuing and maintaining the movement. Although, you know, our idea is that perhaps at this zone, the price may already be rejected to seek a downward movement. Remember, this macro compression against such a relevant structure, creating a market trap before breaking it down as it has done, is significant. That's why it seems sensible to look down in the medium term in the cryptocurrency market. Now tell me, do you think like us, or rather rather the opposite? Do you believe in not being bearish, that we're going up? Leave your opinion in the comments. And if you liked this video, let me know in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell so that YouTube notifies you of future publications. Share this video with your friends and other trading and cryptocurrency communities. Good luck with your operations, and until next time.